Have you ever felt that something invisible is happening in the world? As if a silent energy were rearranging everything we know. Old certainties seem to crumble, time seems to run differently, and even the simplest emotions seem burdened with a weight that didn't exist before. Many believe that chaos is merely a consequence of human choices, but what if behind it all there were a greater force, leading humanity to a collective spiritual examination? What if this were the time when each soul is put to the test, not as punishment, but as preparation, the beginning of a new era where only hearts aligned with inner truth will be able to remain standing? Something has begun, silent and profound. It is not a physical catastrophe, but a spiritual transformation that touches every human being, every thought, every choice. Higher forces, those that operate beyond rational comprehension, are testing humanity to see who has truly awakened and who still sleeps in the comfort of illusion. The destiny of Earth, and of the civilizations that inhabit it, is being redefined now, at this very moment. And understanding what is happening is more than a privilege. It is a necessity for those who wish to navigate this time of change with awareness and light. Since the beginning of time, Earth has been the stage for a silent battle between opposing energies. While higher forces raise consciousness, inspiring love, compassion, and wisdom, there are also lower forces that attempt to imprison the human soul in fear, desire, and forgetfulness. These forces are not metaphors but subtle currents that run through the fabric of reality. You feel them when a simple decision seems to split your mind into two voices, one that calls for good and another that tries to drag you back into darkness. This duality is the training ground of souls, the space where each one chooses daily which energy they wish to serve, and this choice determines individual and collective destiny. Some believe these forces are outside of us, like distant entities observing the planet, but the secret is deeper. They move within each human being, manifesting themselves through emotions, thoughts, and attitudes. When you feel anger, envy, or despair, a lower energy finds an opening to act. When you feel gratitude, forgiveness, and surrender, a higher force manifests. This is how the invisible operates, not in temples or distant stars, but within the human heart. Therefore, humanity's true battlefield is not in the streets or in governments, but within each soul that inhabits this planet in transition. Higher powers don't test us to punish us, but to uplift us. They create situations that challenge our beliefs, provoke our fears, and reveal what still needs healing. When you face a loss, a disappointment, or a moment of emptiness, it's as if the universe is asking, "Do you trust me now?" And the answer, born from your silent faith, is what determines the next step in your journey. Most people run from discomfort, but those who understand the purpose behind the pain discover that each trial is a disguised ladder, and each fall, an opportunity to ascend. Lower forces, on the other hand, create nothing new. They merely consume what already exists. They feed on doubt, haste, pride, and fear. They whisper that you are not enough, that the world is cruel, and that love is weakness. Their power lies in forgetfulness. They make human beings forget who they truly are. When someone disconnects from their essence, they become manipulable, like a discordant instrument in someone else's hands. Therefore, protecting your vibration is not a symbolic gesture. It is an act of spiritual survival in this time when forces mingle and test everyone. Ultimately, understanding the influence of these forces is the first step to freeing oneself from them. Earth is a training ground, and every soul that incarnates here participates in this cosmic school, where love is the most difficult lesson and the ego the most persistent obstacle. The destiny of humanity will not be decided by external wars, but by the sum of the internal choices of billions of hearts. And when the number of awakened hearts surpasses that of the sleeping ones, the balance of Earth will tip towards a new era, an era in which the spirit will once again be at the center, and humankind will finally remember that it was never alone in the universe. For millennia, karma was understood as a scale that weighed good and bad actions, punishing or rewarding each being according to their deeds. However, something changed starting in 2012, a year that energetically marked the end of an ancient cycle of humanity. Since then, the laws of return have become faster, more direct, more visible. Before, the consequences of an action could take years or entire lifetimes to manifest. Now time seems compressed, and what was once the future has become immediate. What you feel, think, and do returns almost instantly, like a living mirror. This acceleration is not punishment, but an opportunity for conscious learning, the chance to correct oneself in real time and adjust the vibration of one's own soul before the wheel of suffering turns again. Many have failed to perceive this shift and continue to act based on old laws, hoping that time or forgetfulness will erase their mistakes. But in this new cycle, the Earth's energy no longer tolerates dissonance. Everything that is false, everything that vibrates outside of truth is revealed. Masks fall with frightening speed, and what could once be hidden is now brought to light, whether in relationships, institutions, or within the heart itself. This spiritual transparency is the new karma, the direct reflection of the vibration that each being emits. The universe has ceased to be a distant judge and has become an immediate mirror. What happened in 2012 was a realignment between the visible and invisible planes of Earth. The planet's vibration rose, and this altered the way karma operates. Ancient souls that could previously hide behind appearances are now being called to account. Words and intentions have more power than ever. A simple prayer can change an entire reality, but a thought of fear can open a breach for dense energies in seconds. Human consciousness in this new era is like a magnetic field. It instantly attracts that which vibrates in harmony. Therefore, 2012 was not the end of the world, but the beginning of revelation, the end of dormancy, and the beginning of the harvest. More sensitive people have already realized that karma now manifests itself emotionally. Instead of external events, it acts internally, through sensations, memories, and triggers. You feel a pain without cause, a sudden anguish, and think it's just stress. But in reality, you are clearing old residues from the soul. This is the new workings of the law. The return doesn't come from outside, but from within. Every unresolved emotion returns as an invitation to healing. Thus, humanity has been led from an era of judgment to an era of purification. There is no more punishment, only revelation, and revelation is always an act of love. What the new karma teaches us is simple. The universe has stopped acting through punishment and has started acting through resonance. What you vibrate, you live. What you deny, returns. And what you accept, dissolves. This is the new pedagogy of the soul. The haste to see results, the anxiety to understand the whys, all this belongs to the old energy. Now, the only way to walk in peace is to remain present, act with integrity, and trust in the higher intelligence that governs the balance of all things. What seemed mystical has become practical. What seemed distant has come closer. Since 2012, karma is no longer a promise. It is the mirror of the present. Some look at this world and see only pain, chaos, and disorder. But those who look with their hearts see something much greater, an immense school, where every soul is a student and every experience is a lesson. Earth has never been a punishment, but a temple of learning. Here, beings are tested, honed, and awakened through human experiences. Some gentle, others devastating, all necessary. Each birth is an enrollment, and each death a temporary graduation. Throughout the ages, souls return, repeat lessons, change roles until they learn the great truth. Everything they seek outside has always been within. This school is unique because it teaches through duality. Light and shadow, love and fear, peace and conflict. These are the subjects that make up life's curriculum. The spirit, upon incarnating, knows that here it will face forgetfulness and accepts this as part of the learning process. With each existence, it chooses new challenges, new bodies, new contexts, like a student changing classes. And although many think they are bound to destiny, the truth is that each soul designs its own trials before birth, with the help of guides and mentors. Nothing is by chance and everything is an opportunity, even suffering. But something special is happening in this era. Earth School is undergoing a profound reform. The old lessons, based on pain and repetition, are being replaced by teachings of direct awareness. Souls who have already learned enough no longer need to reincarnate to pay debts, but to serve as beacons. They come not to learn, but to remember. This explains the increase in the number of people awakening, questioning, seeking a higher meaning for life. It is a sign that the planet is training its last students under the old system, preparing for a new cycle of collective learning. In this new phase, Earth will cease to be merely a testing ground and will become a field of manifestation. Learning will no longer come from pain, but from conscious creation. Souls will be trained to co-create realities in harmony with divine love. This transition is slow and challenging, as students of different levels still coexist here, some still learning the first lessons of the ego, others already ready to teach. This is why the world seems so chaotic. Different classes coexisting in the same space-time, each experiencing its evolutionary stage. Understanding Earth as a school changes everything. You stop feeling like a victim and start seeing yourself as a learner. Losses cease to be punishments and become advanced lessons. Enemies transform into teachers in disguise, and pain into portals to higher levels of consciousness. When you see this, despair gives way to gratitude, because you realize that nothing was in vain. The soul that recognizes the wisdom of the process is already ready to transcend, and that is exactly what the planet is asking of us now. Spiritual maturity to move on to the next level, together, as an awakened humanity. Free will is the greatest gift and the greatest test bestowed upon the human soul. It is the power to choose between light and shadow, between love and fear, between awakening and oblivion. No superior force can violate this gift, for it is what makes learning real. Even the most enlightened beings cannot intervene if the soul does not allow it. Therefore, the universe respects even mistakes because every choice, however misguided it may seem, contains within itself a hidden lesson. Free will is the invisible thread that connects destiny to consciousness, and using it wisely is the true sign of evolution. But free will is not just freedom to act. It is vibrational responsibility. Every thought, word, and emotion is a seed sown in the field of reality, and the harvest is inevitable. When a person says yes to fear, they open doors to dense forces. When they say yes to love, they attract protection and synchronicity. Therefore, spiritual protection is not something one asks for, but something one vibrates. It is born from the coherence between what one feels, thinks, and does. The universe automatically aligns itself with those who vibrate in truth, for light recognizes its kind. Many seek protection in symbols, rituals, or sacred objects, and these have their value. But the true shield lies within. No amulet can replace an aligned heart. The energy of faith is the strongest wall that exists, and trust in the divine presence is the most powerful shield. When fear disappears, the shadows lose access. When there is surrender, protection becomes natural, because the being stops fighting against the flow and begins to flow with it. Spiritual protection, therefore, is not a barrier, but a state of consciousness. Free will also explains why lower forces still have access to humanity. They can only act when they are allowed, even if that permission is unconscious. Every time someone vibrates anger, envy, or resentment, they open an energetic breach. But the good news is that the same principle applies to the opposite. Every act of forgiveness, compassion, or gratitude closes those doors. The universe doesn't punish, it only responds. Therefore, awakening means taking full responsibility for one's own vibration, understanding that nothing external has power over those who remain centered in their inner light. And there is an even deeper secret. When the soul recognizes its free will and voluntarily surrenders it to higher forces, fear disappears completely, because in this act of trust, control is replaced by wisdom. The being ceases to try to protect itself and begins to live in alignment with the divine flow, where nothing can truly harm it. It is at this point that the human becomes a co-creator and no longer a victim. The universe then begins to conspire silently, guiding its steps, opening paths, and transforming each obstacle into a blessing. This is true freedom, to consciously choose to be a channel of the light that protects and transforms. Few understand that Earth's history is merely a fragment of a much larger narrative. Ancient and invisible civilizations, not belonging to the surface of this world, have silently influenced human destiny for ages. Some of these forces act in harmony with higher purposes, aiding the evolution of consciousness. Others, however, work in the shadows, diverting humanity's gaze towards the material, the superficial, and fear. These are civilizations that have chosen power instead of light, domination instead of love. They do not appear, they do not show themselves, but they infiltrate human structures, ideas, emotions, collective decisions, and shape the course of civilization without our realizing it. These forces do not present themselves as enemies. They dress themselves in progress, comfort, and technology. They promise freedom, but offer distraction. They feed the human ego with promises of greatness, while sucking the vital energy that emanates from attention and desire. Control is no longer achieved through physical chains, but through vibration, through the manipulation of thoughts and emotions. When humanity vibrates with fear, conflict, and distrust, these dark civilizations are strengthened, for it is from this dense energy that they feed. They do not need to be seen to exert power. It is enough for the human mind to continue looking down, forgetting its own essence. For a long time they dominated the Earth's narrative, influencing religions, governments, and belief systems. But now, with the planet's vibrational elevation, their structures are crumbling. That's why there's so much confusion, so much polarization, so much struggle for control. The old power is being unmasked. The civilizations that lived in the shadows are losing their hold on human consciousness, and in their desperation they try to intensify fear, spread chaos, and distort the truth. But the more they try, the more people awaken, because when light expands, it makes a return to darkness impossible. The secret to neutralizing the influence of these civilizations lies not in resistance, but in frequency. Humanity can only liberate itself when it learns to raise its vibration, maintaining love and clarity even in the face of confusion. Light does not fight with shadow, it simply shines. Each person who chooses truth, who lives in gratitude and awareness, becomes a point of light that weakens the dense networks that have dominated the planet for so long. Collective awakening is the greatest challenge for dark civilizations because they cannot control an awakened heart. Therefore, this is the most important moment in human history. There are no external enemies to fear, only internal shadows to acknowledge. As human consciousness expands, the dark forces lose the nourishment that sustains them. When humanity unites through the vibration of love, all invisible dominion will naturally cease. This is why the higher forces are testing humanity now, to see who remains faithful to the light even when everything seems to crumble. The true battle is not between races or civilizations, but between vibrations, between consciousness and forgetfulness. When the soul reaches the limit of pain and the heart finds no more answers in the world, something sacred begins to stir within. This silent presence, which many call the Holy Spirit, is the force that heals and renews, the divine spark that never goes out, even in the darkest nights. It doesn't arrive with noise, nor does it demand rituals. It comes as a gentle breath, an inexplicable warmth, a certainty that something greater sustains everything. When this energy manifests, old wounds begin to heal not because they were forgotten, but because they were understood. Spiritual healing is, above all, a reunion with one's own origin. This force is not reserved for saints or enlightened beings. It dwells within us all. It is the breath of life, the invisible movement that connects the human to the divine. However, to feel it, one must be silent. The presence of the Spirit does not compete with the noise of the ego. It reveals itself when the mind gives up fighting and the heart opens to the mystery. It is at this moment that the human being discovers that they are not alone, that there is a loving intelligence guiding them, even when everything seems lost. This discovery changes everything, because it awakens living faith, not the faith of words, but the faith that transforms every cell of the body into light. Spiritual healing happens when this presence begins to flow freely within us. It dissolves trapped emotions, cleanses subtle fields, and restores the natural balance of being. Illnesses, emotional pain, traumas, everything begins to dissolve as the heart regains trust. Divine energy, when accepted, corrects imbalances that the human mind cannot comprehend. Therefore, the first step to healing is surrender. When the soul stops resisting and allows the Spirit to act, miracles become natural. The Holy Spirit is also the channel of communication between higher dimensions and human consciousness. It translates the vibrations of the divine into intuitions, signs, and synchronicities. It is through it that we receive guidance, protection, and strength. It is the bridge between the infinite and the present moment. When someone learns to recognize this inner voice, gentle, loving, and firm, they never feel lost again. Spiritual healing, therefore, is not an event, but an ongoing relationship with this sacred presence. And when this energy settles in the heart, something extraordinary happens. The person becomes a natural healer, not through techniques or words, but through simple presence. Wherever they go, they bring peace. Wherever they touch, they ignite light. This is how the Spirit works, through ordinary human beings who become channels for something immensely greater. This is the new form of healing that the planet needs, not the kind that comes from hands, but the kind that springs from an awakened soul. Before dawn, there is always a denser darkness. On the spiritual journey, this moment is known as the dark night of the soul. the point at which everything you believed begins to crumble. The ancients called it purification, the mystics a crossing, but what really happens is simple. The ego is dying, and this death hurts. It hurts because everything you thought was you, the roles, the dreams, the identities, begins to unravel, revealing the emptiness behind appearances. It is in this emptiness that the true self begins to emerge. During the dark night, the silence becomes unbearable. Prayers seem unheard, and the heart feels abandoned. But it is precisely there that awakening begins. The universe, in its wisdom, removes external crutches so that humankind may learn to sustain itself through its own light. Suffering, then, ceases to be punishment and becomes initiation. All that is false is burned away. All that is true remains. The fire of pain is, in truth, the fire of purification. Many give up at this point, thinking they have lost faith. But the truth is that faith is being rebuilt, now no longer based on promises or inherited beliefs, but on the direct experience of divine presence. The human being who goes through the dark night emerges completely transformed, lighter, wiser, freer. It's as if the old self dies, so that the new one can be born. The dark night is inevitable for all who choose to awaken. It arrives at different times with varying intensities, but always with the same purpose: to liberate. And the more the soul resists, the longer the process becomes. When it finally surrenders and says yes to the crossing, suffering transforms into strength. Pain becomes a portal and the void, the cradle of a new consciousness. And then, dawn arrives. Suddenly, what once seemed like despair transforms into gratitude. Life takes on new meaning. The heart expands and the presence of the divine becomes constant. This is the true awakening. Not the end of challenges, but the certainty that within every shadow, there is a light waiting to be discovered. And it is this light that now begins to emerge in all of humanity, one soul at a time. What we are experiencing now is something that has never happened before in the history of humanity. For the first time, millions of souls are awakening simultaneously, feeling the silent call that echoes in their hearts. It is a collective awakening, a reminder of who we truly are behind the illusions. You can perceive this in small signs: a sudden desire to change your life, to simplify, to seek meaning, an inexplicable restlessness, a feeling that something big is about to happen. And it is. The earth is changing its frequency, and with it, everything that lives on it is being invited to change as well. This new vibration is lighter, faster, and more transparent. It no longer tolerates falsehood, manipulation, or disharmony. That is why so many are experiencing emotional breakdowns, existential crises, and unexpected ruptures. Everything that vibrates outside of truth is being dissolved by the planet's growing light, and the higher the earth rises, the more masks fall. What was hidden comes to light. What was a lie is revealed. What was shadow cries out for healing. It is the birth of a new humanity. Painful, yes, but profoundly necessary. Awakening is not an event, it's a process. It begins with doubt, grows into a crisis, and matures into a choice. The choice to live consciously. The choice to get out of autopilot and start feeling. The earth is teaching us, with every tremor and every silence, that there is no more room for slumber. Either you awaken, or the very flow of life awakens you, sometimes gently, sometimes intensely, but the call is the same. Remember who you are. This global awakening is also a shift in the collective field. The planet's energy is shaped by the sum of the vibrations of all its inhabitants. When more people open themselves to compassion, empathy, and truth, the earth itself responds. And when more people remain trapped in fear and hatred, the planet manifests imbalance. It is an energetic dance between the human and the cosmic. Therefore, each of us has an essential role in this process. There is no such thing as a small awakening. Every heart that ignites its light helps to raise the vibration of all. And the most beautiful thing of all is that awakening is not a privilege for the few. It is available to all who are willing to feel it. It is in the hands that reach out, in the words that heal, in the eyes that forgive. The new era of Earth will not be built by great leaders, but by millions of conscious hearts vibrating together in love. This is how the planet is reborn, from the inside out, from the invisible to the visible, from shadow to light. Few realize that emotions are portals, doors that connect dimensions within us. Each feeling is a frequency, a vibrational bridge that connects the human soul to more subtle planes. Love, for example, is the vibration closest to the frequency of the divine. When you feel pure love, you are not only at peace, you are in tune with the creative forces of the universe. Similarly, when you vibrate with fear, anger, or guilt, you tune into denser planes, where the light weakens. Thus, the emotional field is the true translator of spiritual dimensions. It shows at every moment which force you are connected to. Emotions are not enemies. They are compasses. They don't appear to punish you, but to guide you. If an emotion hurts, it's because it's trying to show you that you've strayed from your essence. It's like a vibrational alarm. However, we've been taught to repress what we feel, to hide sadness, to disguise fear, to avoid silence. And it's in this hiding place that dense forces gain space. The secret is not to run away from emotions, but to navigate them consciously. When you embrace what you feel, without judgment, the energy flows again. The light of understanding dissolves the darkness of resistance. Many ancient traditions knew this and taught that the heart is the true temple of the soul. The visible and invisible worlds intersect within it. The human heart is a cosmic antenna that picks up vibrations and transforms them into feelings. Therefore, protecting emotions is protecting one's own spiritual connection. It doesn't mean avoiding pain, but rather purifying it, transforming it into learning. Each tear that falls is a healing crystal, a release of what no longer serves. When the heart cries consciously, it also expands. It's important to understand that emotions are energy in motion. They need to circulate. When repressed, they transform into illnesses, blockages, fears, and repetitions. When understood, they become wisdom. The soul evolves not by avoiding suffering, but by learning to transform suffering into light. This is true emotional alchemy, the art of converting shadow into expansion. This is what higher forces expect from humanity now: vibrational maturity, learning to feel without getting lost, to love without clinging, to live without fear. When you master your emotions, you are not becoming cold, you are becoming free. Because whoever governs their own emotional field is no longer governed by external forces. And it is at this point that the human being begins to co-create with the divine. Emotions then cease to be torment and become instruments. Pain becomes wisdom, anger becomes strength, fear becomes compassion. This is how the bridges between worlds are rebuilt within each awakened heart. Amidst the noise of the world, silence has become the most forgotten and most powerful gateway. True awakening doesn't happen in the noise of words, but in the stillness of the spirit. When a human being learns to silence the mind, they begin to hear the inner call, a soft, deep voice that doesn't impose, only guides. This voice is that of the soul, which has always been there, waiting to be heard. But to hear it, one needs the courage to be silent, not to run away from oneself, to face the void without distractions. Silence is not the absence of sound, it is the presence of essence. It is the state in which the heart breathes again in harmony with the universe. In silence, answers appear effortlessly, ideas flow, and peace becomes natural. It is not an imposed silence, but a living, pulsating silence. It is in silence that the soul meets the divine and time loses its meaning. Many seek this experience in temples, retreats, or mountains, but the true sanctuary is within. Closing your eyes for a few minutes and simply listening to your own heart is already a complete prayer. We live in an age of excessive noise, not just auditory but informational and emotional. External voices compete for our attention, and the ego loves to be distracted. But the inner calling doesn't shout, it whispers, and only those who quiet themselves enough can hear it. That's why higher forces are guiding so many people towards recollection, introspection, and a desire to be closer to nature. It's a return to simplicity, to natural rhythm, to listening. Silence is the language of the sacred. Many fear silence because it reveals what is hidden. In silence, there are no masks, no escape. It shows the truths we try to suppress. But it is precisely there that healing begins. When you allow yourself to listen to your pain, your loneliness, your longing, you begin to understand what your soul truly needs. Silence does not judge, it welcomes. And in this acceptance, everything is reorganized. What was confusion becomes clarity. What was anxiety transforms into faith. And then when silence becomes a habit, something magical happens. You begin to realize you were never alone. The voice of the spirit becomes constant. Intuitions become clear. and life begins to flow lightly. Silence transforms into communion, fear gives way to trust, and the soul discovers the most beautiful sound in the universe, the sound of peace itself. In times of great transition, ancient souls often return to Earth. These are souls who have walked through ages, carrying in their souls memories of forgotten civilizations and silent wisdom. They feel they are here for a purpose, even if they don't know what it is. They carry a nostalgia that is not of this world, a longing that has no name. These are the souls who look to the sky and feel an inexplicable calling, as if they were remembering something they always knew, but that time made them forget. This awakening of cosmic memory is one of the clearest signs of the vibrational shift we are experiencing. These souls are scattered everywhere, in cities, villages, mountains, oceans, schools, and even within companies. They didn't come to escape the world, but to transform it from within. Each one carries a piece of the code of the new time, a fragment of light that needs to be reactivated. When these souls recognize each other, something happens. A look, a word, a synchronicity, and the memory begins to return. It's not a linear recollection, but a vibrational awakening. A feeling of, I know I've lived this before, I've seen this place before, I recognize this energy. The return of these souls is essential for the planet's balance. They anchor frequencies of wisdom, love, and healing that Earth needs at this moment. Many of them live in silence, feeling displaced, as if they don't belong anywhere. But this feeling is the very sign of their mission. They are not here to belong. They are here to remember. When they accept this condition, they become living bridges between planes. They translate the invisible into simple gestures, bringing the sacred into everyday life. Cosmic memory also carries ancient scars, remembrances of falls, of civilizations that succumbed to pride and fear. These memories resurface now not to cause pain, but to prevent history from repeating itself. The planet is receiving a silent visit from its ancient guardians, and each awakened soul is a flame rekindling the fire of truth. It is as if times are merging, the past and the future converging in this present. Humanity is not only evolving, it is remembering. If you feel you don't belong to this time, that something within you comes from somewhere else, know that this is a calling. You are here because you chose to be. You are part of the reconstruction, a fragment of the ancient light that has returned to rekindle the new world. And when thousands of ancient souls awaken together, the Earth itself is illuminated, remembering who it has always been, a school planet in service of the expansion of love. No suffering is in vain. Behind every pain lies a sacred lesson, even when it seems too cruel to understand. The trials of the soul are stepping stones that lead to awakening. They come to reveal where fear still exists, where faith is still lacking, where love still needs to blossom. They are not punishments, but opportunities for strengthening. Life never misses its mark. What comes to you is exactly what your soul needs to experience to remember who it is. In times of transformation, trials intensify because the soul is being refined. What was once sufficient now needs to be overcome. It's like fire purifying gold. The stronger the heat, the purer the metal. The same happens with the human spirit. When life seems to crumble, it's a sign that an old part is dying so that the new can be born. Pain is the birth of consciousness. It's the universe's push for you to cross the portal you've been avoiding. But there's a secret to trials. They only hurt as long as we resist. When you stop fighting the pain and start listening to it, it transforms into a teacher. It shows you what needs healing, what needs to be let go. Conscious suffering is liberating. It doesn't imprison, it reveals. It's awakening through contrast, the discovery that what truly matters cannot be lost. The trials of the soul also serve to develop compassion. Those who have experienced profound pain learn to look at others with more love. Suffering, when understood, ceases to be a burden and becomes a bridge. It connects hearts, dissolves judgments, and expands empathy. Therefore, the more a soul suffers and heals, the more it becomes capable of healing others. The wound that hurts is the same one that one day will become a source of healing for many. Remember, the hidden purpose of pain is rebirth. No tear falls without reason. Every loss is a realignment. And when you finally overcome the trial and understand its meaning, look back and give thanks, because you realize that it was precisely what seemed to destroy you that in fact rebuilt you. We are living through a decisive moment in humanity, a time when forces reveal themselves and choices become irreversible. The final call will not come from outside, with trumpets or signs in the sky. It is already happening within each heart. The universe is silently asking each of us, will you choose fear or love? This is the question that defines the destiny of Earth. Fear is the vibration of control. It binds, divides, confuses. It makes human beings look outward for security and forget the power they carry within. Love, on the other hand, is expansion. It liberates, unites, illuminates. Choosing love is not romanticism, it's courage. It's deciding to remain at peace even when the world goes mad. It's trusting in the invisible force that sustains all things even without understanding. It's forgiving when it would be easier to hate. It's keeping your heart open, even after being hurt. The test is simple and relentless. Every time fear tries to guide you, choose love. Every time doubt comes, choose trust. Every time the ego screams, choose silence. This is the invisible battle that every soul is fighting now. The outcome does not depend on external wars, but on what happens within each one. The ascension of humanity is a vibrational choice, and no one can make it for you. The higher forces lovingly observe this process. They do not interfere, they only support the field so that we can choose consciously. Earth is a great laboratory of souls, and the experiment is reaching its climax. What each one chooses now will determine the vibration of the next era. Therefore, every gesture, every thought, every intention counts. You are part of the equation. Love is the code that unlocks the new era. It is the frequency that dissolves the shadows and opens the doors to the new civilization. There will be no imposition, only revelation. The new world will not be built by decrees, but by vibrations. And the vibration of love is the only one that will withstand the change that is coming. The transformation has already begun, and nothing can stop it. The earth is ascending, and with it all who choose to walk in the light. The old structures are crumbling not through destruction, but through renewal. The old world is saying goodbye with noise, and the new one is being born in silence. It is the end of one cycle and the beginning of another, a time when humanity will finally learn to live in communion, to feel before judging, to love before reacting. This is the silent promise that vibrates in the heart of the planet. The new Earth will not be a geographical place but a state of consciousness. It will be inhabited by beings who remember their divine origin, who live with simplicity and respect, who understand the interconnectedness of all things. There will still be challenges, but fear will no longer be the central focus. The energy of compassion will replace conflict. Science will unite with inner wisdom. The spiritual and the material, which for ages have been separated, will reunite as parts of the same whole. Many are already feeling the call of this new vibration. They feel the need to change habits, to live with more purpose, to disconnect from excess and reconnect with what is essential. This desire is no coincidence. It is the breath of the new earth passing through the human heart. Every conscious choice you make, every act of kindness, every moment of silence contributes to the birth of this new world. You are part of it, and it is already being born through you. The final awakening will not be an event of external lights and miracles, but a mass inner awakening. One day, billions of people will simply feel at the same time that the separation is over, that there is no longer I and others, but only a unified field of consciousness. This will be the true rebirth of humanity. When this happens, the higher forces will no longer need to test, because they will have found in us the reflection of the divine. If you've come this far, it's because you feel this calling. The transformation of the earth has already begun, and your soul is part of this movement. The time of shadow is ending, and the light is returning. This is the moment to remain steadfast in the vibration of love and help the new to be born. If this message touched your heart, subscribe to the channel. To continue this journey with me, write the keyword in the comments. Renaissance. I want to see how many have truly walked with me to the end.